Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Here is a new What's for Dinner video sharing with you some recipes and dinners that me and my family had at home during the week. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you like videos like this, give it a thumbs up. These are some tried and true recipes and a new recipe that we gave a go. So the first recipe is our chicken fajitas. The fajita marinade recipe actually came from a college roommate of my husband's that is a dear friend of ours. He was the best man in our wedding. So I am getting the chicken prepped and ready to go for that marinade. I like to take off all the fatty bits and any tender parts that when cooking people don't like to eat. So I am cleaning up the chicken a little bit and then putting it into a bag. Now for the marinade, you need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, 2 teaspoons or more or less give or take what your family likes, more spicy or not. Then you add some red pepper flakes, some onion powder, some garlic powder, and lastly paprika. Now I just eyeball these. You can add more or less given your family's preferences. So I'm just going to give this bag a shake. Make sure that the bag is completely closed when you do this. And I'm going to actually put this into my fridge for when I am ready to cook it later on. I did this earlier in the day. So I'm prepping my veggies for the fajitas. I'm going to cut up a green bell pepper, now I'm cutting up a red bell pepper, and lastly, I am going to cut up an onion. You can add or take away any vegetables that your family likes in their fajitas or tacos. You can do some yellow bell peppers. You can do a couple other vegetables, but this is kind of what I had on hand and what my family likes in our fajitas. So when you're ready to get cooking for dinner, I start a pan on medium-high heat and pull out the chicken breast. Do not pour all of the sauce in with it. I've learned that the hard way. I'm also going to make refried beans and the red beans and rice for a side dish. My son likes to have bean tacos or bean chalupas or whatever, so I do make refried beans on the side. Once the chicken gets brown on both sides, I like to cut the chicken straight down the middle and then put the uncooked side back down on the pan. I find this is a faster way for me to cook the chicken, especially in this fajita style. So you'll see me taking the chicken breast and just cutting them right in half. Once I get through all the chicken breast that way, I'll then cut them into the slices that you all know for fajita slices, and I will put that back in so all edges of the chicken is getting fully cooked and getting some kind of simmer and nice like coating of crust all around. When the chicken is almost done, you're going to pour in your vegetables and cook it with the chicken to your tenderness preference. I should have put these vegetables in a little faster, so I do put a pan on to stop the chicken from cooking but help the steam finish off the vegetables. And that is dinner. You can put this in a taco with some cheese, shredded lettuce, or you can make a taco salad and have more shredded lettuce underneath, pour some salsa on, you're good to go. This next recipe is a family favorite. This is our homemade chili or crock pot chili, a recipe that is tried and true. We use it every time. If I change the recipe, my family knows that it's different. So I'm going to start off by browning the chopped onion in a pan with some oil. So now you're going to add about 1.5 cloves of finely minced garlic. I used the store-bought kind. I half this recipe because it is so much chili for just me and my husband and our 1-year-old son. So a lot of the ingredients might be different, but I will link the recipe down below. And you're going to saute that for about 30 seconds. When it's done, you're going to pour it into your crock pot and then return your pan back to the stove. This is when you're going to brown your ground beef. Recipe typically calls for 2 pounds of ground beef, but for our recipe, we only use half of that, so we use 1 pound, and then we'll use chicken breast too. Make sure to drain all that liquid fat. Keep about 2 tablespoons, and then you're going to pour that back into your crock pot over the onions. This is when I'm going to add some chicken breast right on top. It does not have to be cooked. So you're going to add a can of diced tomatoes with green chili and about 1.5 cans of tomato sauce. It's about 8 ounces per can, so the recipe calls for 3, so I just do 1. I will say I would add another can of tomatoes next time I make this. Also going to add a 1/2 cup of water, tablespoon of chili powder, about a tablespoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of paprika, one teaspoon of cocoa powder, 1/2 teaspoon of granulated sugar, and salt and pepper to taste. And you're going to cover it, make sure everything is stirred together, cover the lid, and cook it on low heat for 5 to 6 hours. When the time is up, I go in and I just shred out that chicken so the chicken is mixed with the ground beef and it is fully cooked, falls apart, really easy to break apart with 2 forks. And I'm going to go in and get my Jiffy corn muffin mix, and I'm just going to follow the directions on the package. Instead of making corn muffins, I do put it in an 8x8 baking pan so I can cut out the different portions or pieces that we would like. See those peanut butter blossoms in the corner of your screen? That is a future video coming up. I'm planning on doing a Christmas cookie video, and that is my favorite recipe for peanut butter blossoms. They didn't even last 2 days in my house. Then gonna add and rinse your can of red kidney beans and your can of light red kidney beans and just mix that all together, and that's just gonna be in your crock pot till they're heated through for about 10 minutes. This is where if you want more liquid, you could add more water or beef broth to your chili. And that is it. The cornbread's ready. Just top your chili with some cheese and sour cream. And this is so good. I totally recommend you guys try it out. This next recipe is a egg hash brown bacon bake. I tried this recipe out for the first time. It was pretty good overall. I would have a little bit of changes and tweaks to this recipe. But what you're first going to do is cut up your bacon into 1-inch pieces, and you're going to cook them on top of your stovetop until they are nice and crispy. When the bacon is fully cooked, you're going to take your slotted spoon and a paper towel, and I just kind of put it on, and you're going to store this in your fridge. Why you store this is because you are going to later make your egg bake the same day. I say same day because it's 8 hours in the fridge or overnight. So that is why it was for dinner the next night. So you're going to now cut up a red bell pepper. They also recommend a medium onion. I ran out of onion after doing the chili and fajitas, so I didn't have one on hand. I definitely recommend you get an onion though for this recipe. I think that was one of the things that was missing flavor wise. But I'm just dicing and chopping up the pepper and gonna cook that lightly for about 4 minutes on medium heat. Now you're going to stir in 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I made sure to take the peppers off of the heat so the Dijon mustard didn't get too overly cooked. I pour this into a side bowl until I'm ready to use it for my casserole. So I'm going to crack up 12 eggs. I actually only had 11. One of the eggs was cracked in the carton, which was a bummer, but that's pick up for you sometimes at these grocery stores. So I'm just gonna crack these eggs and get them all mixed together. You're also going to add 3/4 cup of milk to this egg mixture before you whisk it all together. This is where if you like more flavor in your eggs, I would add your Texas Pete or any kind of hot sauce you prefer. I have a 1-year-old I was trying to feed, so I knew he wouldn't like if I added a whole bunch of hot sauce to the eggs, but I do recommend you guys do that for this recipe just to give the eggs a little more flavor and kick. That would be a good addition. Now I'm just going to spray my 13x9 pan, and you're going to spread your hash browns on the first layer. These have been thawed during the whole bacon process, all of this. So this is frozen, uncooked hash browns, and you're just going to spread a nice even layer, about half of the bag, onto your dish. Then you're going to sprinkle your vegetable mixture, those peppers and onions with the Dijon. I use a spoon just to kind of help spread it out more evenly. Top it with some cheese. They recommend, what do they recommend? Like a cup of cheddar cheese. Eyeball it. If you like more cheese, put on more cheese. And then you do another layer of shredded hash browns. So that is the whole bag right there. You're going to pour your egg mixture over top all of those hash browns. And you're going to cover this and store it in your fridge for about 8 hours or overnight. So it's the next day at night for dinner, and you heat your oven to 325 degrees, uncover your dish, and bake it for about 50 to 60 minutes. I did it pretty much at 50 minutes. You bake it until your thermometer in the center reads about 160 degrees. You sprinkle on the remaining 1 cup of cheese, and then layer your bacon over top. And the bacon was still crispy, being in the fridge overnight. I also sprinkled a little bit of extra cheese on top of the bacon to just kind of help the bacon meld into the egg casserole. And you're going to bake that for about 3 to 5 more minutes, or until your knife is inserted in the center and comes out clean and the cheese is melted. And this was pretty good. I will say you need Texas Pete on the side. Don't just make it on like as is. But I also was eating this with salsa on the side, so that was pretty good. I do recommend this recipe. So that is it. Those are the dinners for this week. 2 other meals you missed was Papa John's pizza one night, and what else did we do? We went out to dinner another night. But those were our home cooked meals for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and let me know what's for dinner at your house.